This video is brought to you by WorldSoccerShop.com, offering the world's largest selection of authentic jerseys and apparel for both club and country. Hey guys, Josh from SoccerReviewsForYou.com, bringing you my first impressions plus on-feet video of the brand new Puma evoPOWER 1.2 in the Peacoat white and bright plasma colorway. Now inside the box, all you get are the shoes themselves. They do not come with any extras. So let me get these guys out of the box really quickly, and we'll take a closer look at the new evoPOWER 1.2 in its first launch colorway. Now this is a shoe that I'm personally very excited about. The original evoPOWER 1 was one of the most innovative shoes of 2014. I was personally a big fan of the feel and performance features that it had to offer. And with the evoPOWER 1.2, the second generation, if you will, they haven't made any significant changes to the overall design and concept behind the boot, but the minor changes that they have made definitely seem to be very, very positive. So if you are interested in learning more about how these things fit, feel, and ultimately perform, please stick around. Also, if you're interested in purchasing a pair of these for yourself, the retail price is $200 US. You can check out the review page on my website, first link down below in the description, and on that page you will find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes where you will be able to pick these up below their normal retail price. So again, if you're interested in a pair, first link down below in the description. And with that being said, let's get right into the review. To start things off, let's talk about the performance and tech specs of the new evoPOWER 1.2. Now the concept behind the evoPOWER line is to enhance the barefoot striking experience. Puma did some studies and found that when striking a ball barefoot, the natural flexibility of your foot as well as the curling of your toes results in increased power in your shot. They also found that because there's no extra padding on your foot when you're striking a ball with no shoes on, it also increases the power of your shot. With that being said, they also found that adding a little bit of padding to your foot increases the accuracy of your shot. So what they did here with the evoPOWER 1 and obviously with the evoPOWER 1.2 is they tried to replicate or enhance that barefoot shooting experience, creating a shoe that would result in natural flexibility, increased power, and increased accuracy. Now you'll definitely get that more natural flexibility from this particular shoe. Will it increase the power of your shot or make your shot more accurate? That is something that I'm skeptical to say yes to. Most likely the answer to that question is no. I actually have done some testing myself with this. If you guys missed my video where I tested out all of the latest and greatest high-end soccer shoes to see which one would result in the most powerful shot, I'd recommend checking out that video. I'll leave an annotation on screen. It's actually very, very interesting, and the results may surprise you. So go ahead and check that out. Again, annotation on screen. So in conclusion, this shoe won't make your shot more powerful and it won't make your shot more accurate, unfortunately. With that being said, as far as tech specs go, not too much has changed regarding the materials that they've used from the original evoPOWER to the evoPOWER 1.2. The upper is still made from Adapt-Lite synthetic. You can see the branding right here on the lateral side of the shoe. It's a thinner synthetic material and it's actually a one-way stretch microfiber, which is kind of unique. It'll stretch vertically but not horizontally, so you won't lose any stability when making quick cuts and turns, but because it is flexible vertically, it does have the ability to bend backwards, which is part of the design of the sole plate, and we'll get into that a little bit later in the video. It does still have the off-center lacing system, as you guys can see. Something that they have changed quite noticeably to the finish of the upper is they've given it a matte finish as opposed to the very shiny finishes that we saw on the evoPOWER 1, which is going to result in more grip. Speaking of more grip, you're also going to find their grip texturing going across the surface of the upper in the main striking areas of the shoe. It's this pink material. And honestly, it's very, very thin. You can hardly feel it to the touch when you rub your finger against the surface of the upper, and it's hardly grippy at all, both against your finger as well as against the ball. So it's more of a marketing gimmick rather than something that's going to have a huge impact on performance, but nonetheless it is there and it is a change from the original evoPOWER. Another thing that has changed is of course the AccuFoam padding, which you can see there's a very kind of heavy texturing, like it looks like the shoe is entirely embossed across the upper. This is not just for looks, it actually is AccuFoam padding sitting on top of the Adapt-Lite synthetic. Now in comparison to the AccuFoam on the original evoPOWER, where it's mainly located in the forefoot in the main striking area of the shoe, that obviously those positions are still covered on the evoPOWER 1.2, but the AccuFoam itself seems to be a lot thinner and arguably a little bit firmer as well. So you're going to have a more consistent touch across the entire foot versus what you saw with the evoPOWER 1.2. You can see you even have AccuFoam here going across the lateral side of the boot. I think it looks cool. It has a very, very modern appearance to it. And overall, no complaints whatsoever regarding this new upper design. You still have the off-centered lacing system, as you guys can see. The tongue is also made from Adaplite synthetic, and just to give you guys a quick look, you have 3 large memory foam inserts running through the middle of the tongue just to cut down on any kind of lace bite. So the overall fit of this shoe is actually quite comfortable, something we will talk about a little bit later in the video. As far as the rest of the upper is concerned, you can see you have a stitched on kind of fusion point right here on the lateral side where they covered up the seam here with some fused on material. You do have your external EverFit cage as we saw on the previous generation evoPOWER 1, although this is again just fused on material to hide a seam. It doesn't actually have any major impact on stability. And then the rear portion of the shoe is this shiny synthetic material with some perforations there, your evoPOWER 1 branding of course. And you'll notice immediately that they have actually changed the cut of this shoe. So it's still nice and flexible at the back. I wouldn't say more flexible than any other shoe, but it definitely has more of a normal cut that I personally prefer over the kind of lower rounded shape that we got with the original evoPOWER 1. Speaking of heel liners, the heel liner is a smooth synthetic leather material. You can see that it has this kind of interesting pattern there on the inside. You would think it's a grip texturing or something like that. It isn't, it's just there for looks. Looks cool, but serves no purpose as far as performance is concerned. And there's a decent amount of padding back there, so step-in comfort should not be an issue, at least in the heel area of the shoe. The insole is, of course, fully removable. It features a mesh liner on top, made from a single layer of relatively thin foam, and then you have these very large perforated foam inserts in the heel and forefoot that provide some really, really good step-in comfort. Also notice the anatomical shaping of the shoe in the toe box area right there. Another thing to talk about that is new with the evoPOWER 1.2 that you can't actually see is the inside heel liner. So I've removed the laces on this shoe so you can see the inside. This is their liner now on the inside of the boot, as you guys can see. It reminds me a lot of the Hypershield liner found on the Nike Tiempo Legend 5 as well as the Nike Tiempo Legacy. No real purpose as far as stability is concerned. You're still going to get plenty of stability from the actual Adaplite synthetic upper, but this is just a new way of doing liners that I personally really like. Instead of having a fused on solid layer, you have kind of an open mesh design material that really does allow the shoe to feel nice and comfortable against your foot. It's less restrictive as far as flexibility is concerned, and it also will allow the shoe to dry a little bit more quickly. It's not going to lock in any moisture. So definitely a very interesting thing for Puma to add to the evoPOWER 1.2, and it's kind of a proven thing. I know that Nike's done it before, so I expect it to feel very, very similar on the evoPOWER 1.2, even though this is a synthetic boot, whereas on the Legend or the Tiempo series, obviously that is the liner backing a leather upper. So a little bit different concept, but still very, very similar. As far as the sole plate is concerned, the sole plate is made from Peacoat. It's what they call their gradual stability frame running through the middle. It's very, very thin in the forefoot and toe box area, and that is to allow for optimal flexibility. It's thinned out kind of in between the studs. You guys can't really see it, but you can definitely feel it in person, where, like I said, this shoe does have the ability to bend backwards, kind of mimicking the natural flexibility of your foot when you're striking a ball with no shoes on at all. Then you have your gradual stability support frame running through the middle. It's kind of like a rib design where it's a little bit stiffer here towards the heel, and then, like I said, it gets more and more flexible as you get towards the tip of the toe. As far as the stud pattern is concerned, that remains unchanged coming from the previous evoPOWER 1. You have your bladed studs in the heel, 3 bladed studs in the forefoot, kind of like right at the base for stability. You can actually it does actually say stability blade right there on the one stud there. And then you do have 4 conical studs that are fairly long and quite narrow in profile, so they dig into the ground, provide plenty of traction, and overall this is a great stud pattern for firm natural grass playing surfaces. If you're looking for something that's going to have kind of stopping power when you're planting to shoot the ball, if you're looking for quick changes of direction, they give you those bladed studs there on the lateral side of the shoe, and you still have plenty of grip when pushing off and plenty of maneuverability because the studs themselves are actually conical in shape. So overall, Fantastic stud pattern, one of the better firm ground stud patterns on the market in my opinion. And just as a whole, really happy with the new redesign for the evoPOWER in the 1.2 variation. Can't wait to try these things out. As far as weight is concerned, I wanted to weigh in the original evoPOWER 1 side by side with the 1.2 just to see what the difference would actually be, if there's any difference at all. Of course, they both feature the exact same sole plate and stud pattern, so really the only changes that Puma have made coming from the 1 to the 1.2 is the upper itself. So, for the sake of comparison, please keep in mind that these are both in brand new condition and both in the same size, 9.5 US. We'll start off with the evoPOWER 1, throw it on the scale, and you can see that they weigh in at a very lightweight 7.2 ounces. So remember that number, take that off the scale, and we'll throw on the 1.2, and you can see that these guys weigh in at 7.4 ounces. So they're 0.2 ounces heavier than the original evoPOWER 1, which isn't too surprising considering that they seem to have packed a little bit more into the design of this upper versus what we saw on the original. Is this a significant amount of weight? Absolutely not. 0.2 ounces is not something you're going to notice either in hand or on feet. So all in all, the evoPOWER 1.2, just like the evoPOWER 1, is still a very lightweight shoe and just an extremely unique package overall in terms of what it has to offer when it comes to performance. As far as the appearance of the shoe is concerned, I have to say I'm a big fan of the evoPOWER 1.2, and I'm curious to hear what your opinions are as well. I love this embossed look that they have going across the entire upper. It makes the shoe come across as very modern, but it isn't too over the top. They've kept things relatively simple for the most part. The upper on this particular shoe is Peacoat. It's like a dark navy blue and it has a nice matte finish, but you're going to find shiny outlines in all the embossed areas of the shoe, as well as this kind of polka dot pattern in a shiny texturing as well. That just looks really good. It reminds me of the paint on a car to a certain extent. You're also going to find that navy blue color in the tongue, as well as the laces themselves, as well as part of the heel liner. As far as the form stripe is concerned, the Puma branding, it is in a nice pearl white color, and it does have more of a shiny finish to it, kind of a sparkle effect in comparison to the matte finish of the upper, so it really does pop nicely. And then you have this bright plasma accent color, which essentially is a bright pink. You're going to find it in the grip text texturing across the front of the shoe, the external EverFit cage, as well as the rear heel portion of the shoe that has the perforations there, your evoPOWER branding in silver. You do have your evoPOWER branding right there in kind of like a highlighter yellow. Same thing goes for on the tongue. And then your Adapt Light synthetic branding in highlighter yellow right there on the medial side. Heel liner, as you guys saw, combination of that Peacoat navy blue and the bright plasma pink color. You guys saw the insole earlier in the video. And then the entire outsole, as you guys can see, is mostly that bright plasma pink color with some navy blue and highlighter yellow accents. All in all though, really good looking colorway in my opinion. They look much better in person, I think, than the online photos show. So let me know your opinions on these down below in the comment section. Do you love them? Do you hate them? Why or why not? And with that being said, let's move on to the on-feet portion of the video so we can get a better idea as to how these shoes fit and of course what the sizing is like. Alright, so here's a look at the evoPOWER 1.2s on feet. On my left foot, I have the stock laces that come with the shoes, and on my right foot, I have a pair of reflective pink SR4U laces. These are replacement laces for your soccer shoes, and if you're interested in purchasing a pair for yourself, check out the website sr4ulaces.com. There'll be a link to that down below in the description of this video. Now, in terms of how these things fit and feel on feet, they're actually very comfortable from right out of the box, as you'd expect coming from the original evoPOWER 1, which was also a very comfortable shoe. I will say that the upper on this particular model does come across as being a little bit more streamlined, a little bit thinner. I think that's because you have much thinner AccuFoam and it's just kind of scattered across the entire shoe, so it has much more of an even feel versus the original model. It also does come across as a little bit stiffer, and I would probably say that that's due to the different liner that you have on the inside of the shoe. Will this change after some break-in time? Probably, but even with it being a little bit stiffer, it's still a very flexible upper. You can wiggle your toes, you can move your feet, you can bend the shoe backwards a little bit. It just really is a comfortable shoe out of the box. No major complaints whatsoever. As far as the fit of the shoe is concerned, again, not much has changed coming from the original evoPOWER 1. I would say that it just feels a little bit more streamlined overall, a very slight improvement, but nothing too significantly different. Obviously, it does have the anatomical shaping in the toe box area, where it comes to a bit of a point at the big toe as opposed to being just completely rounded. Some people don't like this. Honestly, it doesn't bother me. I actually quite like it with the evoPOWER line. It just fits and feels really, really nice. And as far as the width is concerned, it's a tighter fitting shoe, yes, but it's certainly not one that has a narrow fit at all. These are shoes that are going to fit most people, but please keep in mind, you won't get much stretch out of the upper as far as the width is concerned. The way they fit from right out of the box is the way they'll fit for their entire lifespan. So again, unless you have excessively wide feet, these should fit you just fine. As far as sizing is concerned, I'm wearing a size 9.5 US, which is half a size larger than I normally wear, and the exact same size that I wore in the previous evoPOWER 1. So Pumas are pretty notorious, other than the King line, for running about a half size small, and these are no different. So if you're coming from the original evoPOWER, stick with the same size, but if you're coming from most other shoe lines, I'd recommend going a half size up for the best possible fit. Alright guys, that's it for my first impressions of the new Puma evoPOWER 1.2. This is a really good looking shoe. I'm happy with the redesign as a whole. They maintain the same sole plate and stud pattern, which I have no problems with. And the upper, it's been slightly tweaked. It definitely does feel a little bit different, but I think that the overall performance qualities that they had with the evoPOWER 1 will be maintained and arguably slightly improved with this brand new model. So if you like the evoPOWER 1, the evoPOWER 1.2 is more of the same, but in, like I said, a slightly more streamlined, slimmed down package. So really excited to use these and can't wait to see how they actually do perform and how different they are from the original evoPOWER 1. So of course I will be following up with my full written review within the next 3 to 4 weeks, I would say, once I get some more time testing these things out. In the meantime, if you guys do want to check out the review page on my website, it'll be the very first link down below in the description of this video. On that review page, you will find the high quality images of this exact shoe that'll give you a better idea as to how they actually do look in person, and you will of course find buy it now links with the best prices online, including exclusive SR4U coupon codes where you can actually pick these up below their normal retail price. So go ahead and check that page out. First link down below in the description if you're interested in a pair for yourself. If you guys have any questions at all regarding the evoPOWER 1.2, I definitely will get an answer out to you. And if you have any suggestions as far as videos you'd like to see, even comparisons with the new evoPOWER, leave those suggestions down below and I will take a look at absolutely every single comment. If you guys did enjoy today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. That would be greatly appreciated. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information down below in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. And as always, thanks for watching.